parents and students. I'm Mrs. Holen. Welcome to room 423, chemistry. I wanted to just take a few minutes and talk to you about our class and all the fun things we're going to do this year. I really enjoy getting to know your students in the time that we've been having class so far. So I wanted to introduce also, we have an instructional assistant in this class named Miss Annette, and she's also one that works with the students and is a big help. So without further ado, let's look at chemistry. So who am I? My students call me Mrs. Holen or Mrs. H, whatever's easier for them. This is my 6th year teaching, my 2nd year at West Ranch. But I subbed for a long time in the Castaic School District, so I've been around students and school. I have 2 adult children, a hubby that also teaches here at West Ranch, Coach Holen, if you know him. I have a dog, Groot, a cat, Bambi, and a turtle named Tut Tut. She was a little shy. She didn't want to have her picture taken. But when we come back to class, I do bring her in, and she's our class pet, so you'll all have a chance to meet her. Things that I enjoy doing, I like to bike ride, I like to camp, I like to read and watch movies, and I really love chemistry. Chemistry is not the chemistry that we adults grew up learning about. Chemistry has changed a lot. It incorporates earth science and life science and physical science, all from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, so it'll be a lot of familiarity. So it's going to be a great year. Here's my contact information. If you have not gotten a chance to look over the syllabus, which I hope you all have, it is in the Google Classroom under syllabus, and I'll show you where that is in a little bit. But if you ever need me for anything, please reach out. If you've joined the Remind, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, that's a great way to get a hold of me throughout the year because I just kind of prop it open on my iPad. So in case students are having technical difficulties or, having trouble finding something as far as the classroom, I can help right away to get them what they need. Email is also a great way to contact me. Please let me know early if there's any problems. I really want your students to be successful. And if you have any questions, the syllabus covers a lot of the information, the nitty-gritty. And if you ever have any questions about that, please let me know. So, joining Remind. The great thing about Remind is it's an app. It's an easy way for us to get a hold of each other. I can text message a student can message me, parents can join as a parent and message me. So it's just a great way. I promise I will not spam. I will respect, the office hours and things like that. But especially when we come back on campus and we have things like lab days and students have to be dressed in appropriate lab attire, I always like to give them a reminder. And one of the best ways to do that is through Remind. So take the time to go ahead and join. I'm happy to have you. The supplies, the things that every student needs. You really need to have a scientific calculator at home to be able to use in my virtual classroom that I will share with you in just a few minutes. I do have the Desmos website with the scientific calculator linked in there so that you can just click on that and go to a calculator. So if a student is comfortable doing that on a keyboard, otherwise these calculators are not too expensive. When we come back on campus, they won't need to bring it with them. We have them here for them. A 3-ring binder with 1 divider labeled chemistry. And then all of their papers that we're doing will go behind that divider. Obviously pens, pencils, highlighters. And then we do sometimes watch pertinent videos, whether there's a lab that we can't recreate or something I need them to watch for homework, but we have time, we can go ahead and get started. They need to have headphones for a Chromebook. So they have to be the round ones that they can plug in, or they can be the Bluetooth ones. Those work here as well. Live interaction. So every day we're having class together. It's awesome. I am so enjoying seeing their smiley faces every day. Students will log into Zoom. Please make sure that your student comes to class on time. That way we can all get started on time. We only have 75 minutes on regular days, and it goes by super fast. We do take attendance as they enter the Zoom. The students type their name on the chat. They do need to use their full name, and I asked them to make it their full name if for some reason they came in without their full name. After they've typed their name in the chat, they do a daily check-in question. Sometimes it's something fun, like what would you like your superpower to be if you were a superhero? Other times it may be like, did you have a good day yesterday or something like that. Then weekly, we also do a weekly check-in that's kind of like, how was class this week? How was, life, with your schoolwork at, this week? How are you doing? Those kinds of things. If students are absent, they do not need to do the daily question. So they just need to mark it as done, and I excuse them from it. There's also some other things that they might not have to make up if they're absent, but it's best to let me know, so I let you know what it is that they need to do before the next class to get caught up. In the afternoons, we have flex time where I can speak with a student one-on-one through Zoom or through the phone call to get them caught up from what we did in the last class. These are my online behavior expectations that I do share with our students every day. They're doing a great job with following these expectations. So I'm super proud of how they're doing. These are all the things that in the real world, when they're out there having jobs or, going to college, whatever it is they do, these are all good things that they're going to need to know how to do anyway. And they're really all doing a great job with this. So Google Classroom is the platform that I use to be our virtual class. All the assignments are posted on Google Classroom. The assignments are separated by weeks and topics. Assignments will have due dates. If the assignment is not completed by the due date in Google Classroom, it's late, but late work will not lose points. I don't take off points for late work, but I do note that it was late in Infinite Campus, and Google Classroom will tell you if it was late. Points are only deducted for incomplete or incorrect work, and work will show as missing in Infinite Campus and on Google Classroom until the student turns it in. Students will have the opportunity to redo and resubmit some assignments, and you should always contact me if you're wanting to bump your score on an assignment or on an assessment to get a better score. So there's several different ways we can do that, but let me know, and we can work together to help your student be successful. All right, so this is what my chemistry classes look like. I have period 3 up there, but period 3 and period 5 look the same. I do co-teach 2 periods with Mrs. Zarang. So her classroom, or our classroom for those classes looks a little different. But every day on the stream, I post what the daily schedule is, just so students can have it handy. I don't know if other teachers are doing that, but I just find it super helpful for the students if they can see in one place what the schedule is. I did make a virtual classroom. I tried to make it look somewhat like my regular classroom so that when they come back on campus, it looks a little bit familiar to them. This is under classwork. The Zoom meeting link is always there at the top of the page, and it's the same Zoom meeting link with the same password every single class. I didn't want them to have to try and figure out where the link was or what the password was this time, so it's always the same. And they just have to make sure that they pay attention to if something's supposed to be capitalized, that they type it in capitalized. Some students are still having difficulties with getting in the Zoom, so we've just been encouraging them to close out and then open things back up. Make sure that they're typing the password in correctly, those kinds of things. Then every day I also have a virtual classroom, and that virtual classroom is something that has all of the links for all of the assignments that we're going to be doing for the day and all of the things that we're going to be talking about. Then we have our daily check-ins. Once a week, we have our weekly check-ins. And then we have our content material divided by weeks. I also put the dates on everything so that the students know if they were absent on a certain date, this is what we did. So they can look in the virtual classroom to see that, or they can look on classwork and they can just go down by the date. This was what we did in the first days. And then here we have the syllabus. So if you haven't gotten a chance to look over the syllabus, which I hope you have, but if you didn't really get to look through it because there were a whole lot of those at the beginning of the year, feel free to have your student either show you or print it out for you so that you can see. And then down at the bottom of classwork, I have a bunch of different kind of resources, different things that will help students to be successful. So I have instructional segment videos in Google Classroom. I have review tutorial videos. Before we have an assessment, we will also have a practice assessment. If I've graded something and I've posted the answer keys so that people who were absent or people who want to correct their answers can do that, I posted those. And then if we have any lecture notes that a student needs to fill in, those would also be in Google Classroom by the dates and the weeks. So there's different kinds of technology that we're going to use to teach all of the chemistry content. Even when we come back on campus, we'll still use a lot of these. We use Nearpod or Google Slides presentations. We use Edpuzzles and Kahoots and quizzes. I use Google Forms. That's mainly how the students do their weekly check-ins. I may use Menti.com or Whiteboard.fi for the students for interaction. Labster is a brand new program to us this year where we can do virtual online labs that are very similar to the ones we use here. And then currently we're all going through an Apex tutorial so that when I do assign content in Apex, the students understand what it is that they're doing. So in the class syllabus, it gives more of a grade breakdown. All assignments, classwork, homework, Google Classroom assignments and participation, lab activities, exams and quizzes, as well as the class binder that we'll have when we come back on campus, will receive points. Grades are updated periodically on Infinite Campus and throughout the week on Google Classroom. So typically what I do is I, during the week, go through the Google Classroom, make sure that they have the grade for what they did, and then on the weekend, I upload that to Infinite Campus. For Google Classroom, if you're not receiving Guardian summaries, which you should be getting once a week, please let me know. There are some parents that perhaps they didn't get the email or went to spam or junk mail from Google Classroom to let you sign in as a Guardian, and then you get those summaries that every week tells you what we did, what's missing, what's coming up, and it's for all the Google Classrooms from all of your students' classes. If you're not getting that once a week, please let me or somebody know so that we can figure out how to get that invite sent back to you. Academic integrity, this is a big one. Because we're online, students need to make sure that they're still adhering to the same policies that we have here on campus. So unless it's a group project and students are sharing their project and working with each other, really our students shouldn't be sharing their work right now that's individual work with someone else or allowing someone else to copy. I always tell my students the give a man a fish. story. You know, if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. So I encourage my students who are helpers to help the other students by teaching them the content if you know they're wanting to help their friend out instead of just giving them the answers. And if your student is confused, they're not sure what's going on, they're overwhelmed. This is a big one. If your student is spending way too much time on chemistry, please have them reach out, you reach out, let me know. Assignments that are homework should be very short assignments, so they should not be spending hours. And if they are, I really want to know so that I can figure out why, and we can help that to not be happening. So please reach out to me if you're having any of those concerns. Well, thank you for listening to my presentation. We're a team in this together now with this virtual learning more than ever. But even when we come back on campus, I want you to know, parents, how important a part of this team you are. And I welcome and appreciate all of your support with the student that we share throughout the whole school year. So please contact me if you have any questions or concerns. And I look forward to hopefully getting to meet you sometime soon. Take care. Bye.